What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about Hologram. I want to go over some of the current data points, what shorts have been doing, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, Hologram is up 1.37%. Despite actual no news coming up from the company itself, no new updated SEC filings, nothing like that. A lot of speculation on what is happening behind the scenes, which I'll talk on in a second, but very little volume. So 8.6 million shares being traded. 18.8 is the average. So it did also bounce off of that 52-week range of 51 cents. So that was one of the attributing factors why it did go up, because it did bounce off of that general kind of strong support range. So I think that generally is something good to kind of keep in mind for the next several trading days. But right now you do need something from the company. I've been saying this time and time again. It is very discouraging, the fact that somehow Hologram has so many investors interested in it, but the company doesn't put out jack all. So the last news that did come out was on February the 7th. There's been a hell of a lot of speculation, even looking under Hologram's Reddit page. A lot of people are speculating on what the hell is happening. I feel like just everyone is equally in the dark. One thing that really did kind of drive up demand a little bit of Hologram recently was the short interest, because Ortex and other platforms did indicate it was in excess of 200% at its peak. And that's because Ortex did have the wrong outstanding share count. So right now it does show 9.9% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 7.92 million shares. Right now shorts aren't doing jack all, so they're increasing 747 shares. So very small amount. Utilization 54.57, short score 72.93, and then cost to borrow average is 17.32. So yes, right now for face value, I think the likelihood of a massive mother of all short squeeze has gone off the table, at least momentarily. So I think in reality that did really stimulate a lot of buying, but right now, the company hasn't been doing jack all. If anything, the only thing that they've been doing is submitting a lot of these prospectuses, which is notes come due 2025, convertible notes, and as I've signaled, they are very, very damaging. So the lower the price, the more shares are kind of issued out. So it's like Hologram's stuck in a hard place, right? I've done videos speculating on with all this cash, and previously from their earnings, they have roughly around 70 million. In cash and cash equivalents. They could do a lot of good things with that, but they haven't done, right now nobody knows. Like I said, everyone's just in the dark. So if you're investing on Hologram, it is very, very speculative. So just take that with a grain of salt. Keep in mind as well, you have a lot of downward pressure because people are anticipating a reverse stock split, because right now I think it's around 23 consecutive trading days ever since it looks like right here, June the 18th up until the present. I think it's 21 or 23 or somewhere between that kind of range. It's been below $1. And so for 30 consecutive trading days, then unfortunately they're going to get a notice from the NASDAQ to kind of rectify their deficiency within 6 months. If not, then they are going to be delisted. 9 times out of 10 companies just do a reverse stock split. So it looks like another reverse stock split potentially might be in Hologram's future. So their first one was a 1-for-10 that was this year, February 2nd, 2024. So it's a very unfortunate circumstance. And if they don't put out any pieces of news, then it kind of goes to show that they're just funneling money through one of their subsidiaries or something, as I kind of alluded to. But I don't know, it's Hologram, hands down, it's been a very unique circumstance, because like I said, the number of investors that are actually paying attention to Hologram is crazy. And I get it. Looking back at the past, there is a good likelihood that it could squeeze, has proven itself multiple times. And so in reality, I think a lot of people are just hoping for that to happen. And every time it has squeezed, it's gone up considerably. So mid 2023, it went up to around $100. Recently, right here, around 66. I think it went up a lot higher than that. And even over the last 52 weeks, it's gone up 113. That's been the high, $113. Insane. So a lot of people are kind of expecting that kind of scenario to once again play out, which definitely could, but the company needs to put out something to stimulate buying. And so, yeah, I think right now it's just stuck in limbo, regrettably. And right now as well, popping over to IBKR, you do see the current sentiment is very negative. So like it goes through waves. So over the last little bit, there's been some positive kind of blips in the stock price, and then as you can kind of see, it just took that massive sell-off right here. No analysts have even given ratings on Hologram, so it's been quiet from that. Latest Morningstar report does show $5.96 being the fair market value for Hologram, so once again, you can kind of take that into consideration. It's also that time of season where institutions are disclosing their positions. So right now, the current makeup of the ownership is 91.3 thousand shares being held by institutions, 201,000 by strategic entities, and then 81.7 million by other. And this is kind of the percentage. So retail does own the float. 99.64% is held by retail. So I think this is why a lot of people are very much engaged with Hologram, want the best for it, but it's a very bad scenario. And like I pointed out earlier, those two transactions, one at the beginning of July, other one end of June, those were large entities. So even though institutions only hold about 0.11% of kind of the ownership of the float, like institutions are selling. So it's a very crappy scenario. In my opinion, is it worth buying at this stage in the game? I would say if you are a very risky individual and you do believe that this company is legitimate, then yes, take advantage of this because it might have a pretty good risk versus reward at this stage because it could go up. But at the same time, I do feel that another reverse stock split is going to happen. Pretty high ratio as well. So that would really decimate any kind of future hope. So that's just my opinion. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I've really been covering this company for a while now, ever since basically this spike right here. But the company hasn't helped itself. And I think that's the biggest thing with any primarily retail driven stock, is just that retail is doing all the legwork. Retail is hyping up investors, trying to find news what the company is doing, whereas the company couldn't give two shits, pardon my French. So I think that's just kind of a good summarization of Hologram right now. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with all that, appreciate all of you watching.